Okay, y'all, let's talk about population and, being able to decrease population and get into the U.S. government form of economics and, understanding the bigger state from 351 states and, understanding who has the most power of state government and, being able to determine the state government levels of progression. And, that's basically what I promote at this time of my corporations: EcoLeaf, EcoHerb, ErgoHerb 247, ErgoHerb 245, EcoHerb, and many more, as well as Google Mark, Google Infomark, Google Interactive, Amazon Infomark. That's the new one that we have approved until this month. Amazon Infomark, which is more information based off of what I do as a creator in my position, and being able to perform a mathematical sense of sufficiency in my description of notifications that I want to share with my audiences and my credentials of my groups and my advisory channels. It's nothing much. After you smoke, it's nothing you can do about that. I mean, after that, you just pretty much go back to basically doing what you do on a normal basis, which is taking about 975% of your trans tax and using it for an interest rate, and being able to use it 375 times. So you basically combining like terms and separating powers, and being able to separate those powers. You're being able to pay for pieces of that payment do that same when you do that same objective like that 35 times. And that's basically where you paying for more than 13 items. And it's a job requirement. That is a job. So you just keep doing that, and that's basically part of making taxes complete for yourself, as you're paying for what you need and what your company need as well. And it's not that you're doing 13, is that you're doing as much as you can before your job labor is over. And as long as you're doing like 375 of those a week, that's basically what makes Amazon more Amazon, more than it being more like Best Buy or Sam's or Sears. So you just basically making more for your community deposit, and more towards community invitations, and being able to greet others, and show them common hospitality, and understanding more about the culture and the tradition that the culture follows, along with the programs that the tradition and the culture has, that has different channels, and different occupations at the time, and being able to share different states at different propositions of different positions and skills. And that's basically where you're working on, not just 358 different you're not working on 358 different positions, but you're working on 358 different channels. Or you're not working on 358 different channels. You're working on 358 different positions that handle 358 channels. And that's basically what EcoLeaf is all about, as they're preparing to urbanize their infrastructure as far as their network strategies and their network methods. And that's a little bit more how enterprise luxury gets their accommodated methods, as far as how they apply with their devices that they have, and being able to use a familiar way of combinated accommodations. And that right there is at least 375%, going out to every share out there that looks at that type of stuff, and has inquired about that type of stuff. But right now we're talking about world geography, social studies, and world cultures, and we're talking about the bigger state, and we're talking about the most populated state, and you're talking about the most the most black populated state, the most represented state. And, that right there just tells you the difference between 1883 and 1983, which is just showing you the population of black people of owning property at between 1883 and 1983. And, it's basically where you're earning more than 283 acres of land between New York and Arizona, and being able to look at more of the property between the two, and understanding more of insufficient space of sufficient space, and between land use and recreational land, and being able to be part of national parks is what that reminisces on, as that is reduced tax from trans tax. And it's basically paid land, paid property, and it already has paid property tax for up to 80 years already, and so it's already paid for, and it already has this 88,856 in the tank container. And, it's basically where you're serving 80 years for property as property tax, and it's basically getting a start on 33,558 trans tax, 38,458 and 38,453 in trans tax, and it's basically where you're using that 441 times, and it's basically where you're using compounds and meal deals for your political centers, and being able to use more of what you do on a daily basis. And it's basically where you're using that 37,453 times, going from North Dakota to Phoenix, Arizona. So that's just 374 meals right there, and it's basically where you're getting a full capacity of 12-hour dinners, and understanding more of where you're able to make a meal for another state at one time. So it's basically where you start little and then you go big. So you go big by creating capitalism. So you got to be able to create the same type of language over and over again, and be able to create a established common law between the authorizations. And the more you come common with your language, you become more accommodated with your code and pattern configuration that accepts the language that makes it more configured with the acknowledgement that you're trying to breach. And it's basically where you're getting more towards explaining more benefits, from Chrysler 300 to Challenger to Charger to the Tahoe. And that's basically where you're using 38,848 $48.10 to synchronize and describe the points that you need to do in order to make your work enabled at the time. And this is basically where you're getting affiliated with enterprise endoscopes as you get in the descriptive part in. And that's basically where you can talk to your manager on that part, and talk to him about every part of the description part of it. And that's part of enterprise endoscopes, to my perception, and propositions in F451. And that's just been there in Austin since 2009 of 2018. And it's basically Capital, the Frost Bank, that's Pickle, that's Reagan, that's Sam Houston. That's Major League Corporate America right there, as a first starter of colonial delegates. And those are some of the first seats that was on in town at the time. and I knew him very well. So that's a heavy 935 class for me. I get 935 people ahead of time in 1935 to 2085, and being able to have that astonishment is basically what I'm equipping myself for in this lifestyle. And it's basically where we're working on more hard work, and being able to be more dedicated to what influences not only that influences not only the state, but it influences the population as well. So that's just paying more attention to world cultures of social studies. And you got to be able to put in 35 years in order to get the description of what you talking about. At the time, you wouldn't know between ice or a diamond. You wouldn't know the difference between the two. And it's basically where you learn in 388 different configurations of the sword, and understanding more of why would that be said, or why would that be interpreted like that. And it's basically first grade, fourth grade. It didn't have nothing to do with 10th grade. If it had something to do with 10th grade, it would have been something with the amount of language that went into it, and being able to look at the language departure of it. And it's basically where you're using more of 375, 25%. And it's basically where you get more affiliated with um anyways, we were starting on getting a complied message of earning more points towards normal where world geography was. So you got nine people. Nine people can take out a 9830 in about 90 minutes. In about nine to 90 minutes. And that's just a National Guard look. So you got more of that. So as you spend more time with 9830, you got like 971 ways how you can make that happen. More likely more than you spending shooting at least 909 people. 9 people a person, you be able to platform that out in groups of 9, and be able to put that in a 9.1 systematic method, and being able to determine if it's hearsay or irrelevant or Jim Crow or Rabbi code at the time. So you just depending on what that is, and trying to see what that does to the membrane. And that just brings you more 1975 councilship of yellow, green, and blue. You practice in 1975 to 2002 to 2012 to 2015 to 2018 to 2022 and 2022, and that's it right there. And you already have your file. It's already been made, and it's already been described as far as you being in your local county area for the second. And that's basically where you're just starting your own trilogy between school, lifestyle, and being able to be in a working form as well. And that's basically where you got to deal with 3, and that basically started in middle school around 7th grade. And that's basically where you start that whole trial. So that's basically that's what Jackie, Jada, Damon, Sincere has been seeing all this time. And this is basically what we see as far as the holidays is a holiday between Easter, Thanksgiving, and 4th of July, Independence Day, and as far as we go down the memory lane of holidays for 378 hours, you see more of a reciprocated preview of what you require, and you want to be able to read more, but you want to have a descriptive acknowledgement of it. And that's the point with these kids today. They have a very brisk point of seeing a descriptive knowledge of it. So you want to be more descriptive. You want to be able to touch it if it was real. So you just got to be more descriptive, and be able to show endowment. So everybody can be acknowledged at the same time, and you have the same type of acknowledgement rates for everybody, as everybody gets smarter in their own way of privilege. And it's basically where you're starting to be acknowledged of how to perform a better decency of requiring. And it's basically starting from 98,853 to 250, a Hyundai to a Versa to a Chevy Impala Premier. And that's basically where you're starting to configure more towards transitions of business, which is making at least $38,846 a transition. And that's basically where you're working on 8.1 transitions a day. And that's basically working on three 8.1 transitions a day. So that's basically where you're starting more towards enterprise, and being able to use more towards your corporate career in Austin, of St. Louis, Missouri, and Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and Colorado, and Nebraska, St. Louis, Missouri, and who else was that? Chicago, Illinois was in there. Seattle, Washington was in there. No, it wasn't Seattle, Washington. But yeah, most of that was in there. So yeah, we went with that. And yeah, we just doing deals on free trade, and most of that lifespan stuff was particularly by that was by free trade, and we're doing free trade and House of Burgesses and House of Burgesses and House of Burgesses and Treaty of Versailles, and we're doing it all at the New Deal area of Reconstruction area. So this was just all in between 1917 to 1935, and that's basically where we're working on the whole 37 to 05 years old, and being able to look at different descriptions of the subscriptions, and being able to look at different descriptions within those subscriptions, and there's all that you're really encountering for an image at the time of 1837 to 1938. And that's basically all you can get at the time of a urban county representation.